Hello there, I'm Erica and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to read something here and it says, your intuitive body will support you unerringly if you do not interfere with or try to control what you perceive. Meditate instead. Do it, I'm serious. Be a witness. Do nothing. Let nature carry you forward. I always wonder why we don't do that often. I feel like we're constantly trying to figure out who can I blame for this and who can I make feel as bad as I feel right now, and how can I it's like, well, I don't understand why people want to do that, but I do understand, and it's because they're jealous, and it sucks. It really fucking sucks. But I wanted to do something today a little bit different. Have you ever heard of alternate nostril breathing? Because it's a really great way to get into the feel of your vibrations and to experience a deeper sense of calming. And that's what we're looking for. You know, I like to use GABA, which is, it's magnesium, but it's GABA. I know that I took it to the doctor one time and she just laughed at it. You know, they don't like that kind of stuff. So I like to use GABA. It does instantly calm me down, and it's been doing that for years for me. I really like the lozenges. My husband recently got me the powder, the tablets, and they're capsules, and they're like that big, and you got to swallow it. So what I do is I take the powder out and I put it in a smoothie, or I put it inside of something and I swallow it that way. So GABA, alternate nostril breathing. So I would like to do that right now with you. So so I learned this from Adrienne from Yoga with Adrienne, and she's really good. So if you want to check her out on YouTube, I definitely recommend her. So this is her for her anxiety and depression yoga, and she does this thing with her alternate nostril. So you take whatever your hand is, like the right, I take my right hand because that's my dominant hand, and then you can do the hang loose, or you can do anything else that feels good. This feels good to me. This feels fine. So I'm going to just do it the way that I feel fine, but you can do it the way you feel fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this nostril. Hold it. Then you're breathing out. Start to even it out a little bit. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, I feel like a totally different being. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How wonderful. What was I going to talk about today? Well, I have so many things to talk about, but I just don't do it enough, I guess. So, wow, that was really, 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 really nice. So, I guess the bottom line with healing is what I wanted to talk about, is that it does not matter what somebody else is doing in their life. It doesn't matter what they're even saying in their life. They could be saying something about you that's horrifying. They can be saying something that makes you feel shameful. They can be saying, anybody can be doing anything or saying anything that can cause you to make you feel something that you want to respond to and react to. But in reality, there's none of that. You are them. They are you. Like, for instance, the guy in the movie of Elvis, the manager, he was Elvis. Elvis was him. That was the way it was, you know. You are me, I am you. Who can hurt you? If you are me and I am you, why would we hurt each other in that way? That is my question. It's like, why would you hurt somebody else and make them feel unheard, unseen, invalidated, like their experience does not matter? If you want your experience to be heard, seen, and felt, and matter, and you want it to matter to people. I am here to heal. I am not here to lie about my experiences. I'm here to be truthful about them, and the truth is sometimes hard to hear, and but it's also lovely to hear, because you're like, okay, now I get it. You can unravel a lot of things by hearing people's stories or different takes on things. I grew up with my mother talking on and on about how she wanted to write a book in her perspective of this family. And that was a little seed planted in my mind back then from my mother. And I thought to myself, yes, I would love to hear all perspectives. We don't live in a utopia. You aren't living in a perfect family, but they are perfect for you because you are learning so many things from them. When I was little, my grandfather either married or had a girlfriend or live-in girlfriend, and I don't even remember her name. I remember one of her children was called Gio, and I spent days with this woman, every day with this woman. While my mom was out, the family that lived there at the house was out doing their stuff. They're working, they're going to school, they're doing all that kind of stuff. So I'm just a little child. And this woman was the type of woman, and you've met them before, where their children do no wrong, but you are not their child, so you are the reason for everything done wrong. That was me. I was the reason everything was done wrong. I don't remember specific things, but I do remember being punished by this woman. She would put me in the hall closet of our home, and leave me in there. She would spank me. She would withhold food from me. She would do things to me all day. And she would isolate me and make me feel horrible, like I had no voice whatsoever. I was saying I didn't do anything. I didn't, but I was being punished for this. So when I was really little, before starting school, I would experience these excruciating ear pain. And I thought it was an earaches, because earaches are a thing, of course, back then. But I've always had some issues with my ears. Like it feels like water's in my ear. It feels like my ears won't drain. If I'm working out, my ears will just all of a sudden plug up. It's been ever since I was little. So, but also, when I was younger, or up until the other night, last weekend, I would think that I was walking down the hall of Midge Avenue, because you walk down the hall of Midge Avenue, it's not a very wide hallway, I thought. There was a closet here as you walk down the hallway, and then there was a bedroom here, and then you go a little bit further, and then there's a bathroom, and then there's another room, there's a closet with towels and stuff in it, and then there's a master bedroom on the other side. So I was walking down the hall when I was little, and I was just hitting my head against the wall. This is what I was perplexed. I'm like, why in the hell was I hitting my head against the wall? Am I nuts? Am I crazy? What's going on? So last weekend I was getting high with Taylor, and I was talking to them, her and Bruce, and all of a sudden this memory came back again about hitting my head against the wall. And usually when I think about something that I did when I was little, I'll keep thinking about it, and I'll keep asking about it. I'll be like, when can I know this? Like, sometimes information won't come to you till you're ready to know it, because sometimes the information can be too much. This is what's happening in our society right now. We're listening to the news, we're listening to social media, we're listening to all of these different experts saying, this is what's going on, this is why you should be afraid, this is why this is why that, this is why. So we're being inundated with information that doesn't matter. I mean, it's not affecting us specifically, but it is affecting us specifically, because we're all one. So we're getting all of plethora of information, which is not causing us to be action oriented. It's causing us to withdraw, and we're starting to make us have anxiety and have depression and all that other stuff. So all of a sudden, it came to me that what had happened. I kept feeling, I went into my closed eyes the way I do, and I kept feeling a hand hitting my head as I'm walking down the hall. So somebody's behind me, and they're smacking my head against the wall on this side, smacking my head against the wall on that side. And I can't see the person, I feel the person. And I thought it was myself doing it, right? But it was myself doing it in the hindsight of things. This woman was myself, of course, because we're everybody. As the poem says, call me by my true names. So this woman was doing this to me, but I knew then that it was me doing it to me. And I know that I'm an innocent child. I know that the reality of it is I'm supposed to be the victim of this woman. And yes, that's part of it, right? You have to be a victim to that person. But the reality of it was, she was sick, a sick woman. And I was getting what she was giving me. So it taught me something too, not to be that way to someone, I always have been the type of person to ask. And guess what? Most people have lied to me, unfortunately, when I've asked for truths. So it hasn't really worked out too well in my life, but it has made me more, less likely to blame somebody without, oh, that's my daughter that is doing that or whatever. Oh, I'm going to automatically blame their boyfriend or their best friend or whatever. I have done that before, but I learned not to do that. So that's where I'm at right now with that. So in other words, I am not a victim in this. I am simply experiencing this life, and this is what an experience in my life was. So I figured out that it was her doing this because I can't remember what she looks like. I can't even remember what her kids look like. I just know that it was traumatic. And whenever my mom would come home, I would want to tell her what this woman was doing to me. And at that time, not juicy fruit. Is it juicy fruit? No, fruit stripe gum. Fruit stripe gum with the zebra on it. That was my favorite gum. And I don't know why, because it's disgusting. So this woman had a pack of my favorite gum, this woman that was abusing me. And she would, I would try to say what she had done to me, she would put the piece of gum in my mouth. So it was in reinforcing bullshit, you know? It was reinforcing the fact that I couldn't speak my mind. I couldn't say what was going on with me, and I couldn't save myself. I couldn't protect myself. So, so that was that. And so the other part of this story, which is what led me to really crying my eyes out, and I think I cried so much that I probably will never cry on this again. Hopefully. There was my auntie's boyfriend. She was home from Huntington Beach, and she brought along her boyfriend, or her boyfriend came to visit. And respectfully, he slept on the couch while she slept in her room. And I happened to get a really bad ear infection, earache. It hurt so bad. So this is when the pain of her hitting me against the wall came into effect. I mean, if this is what it is, I mean, this has to be what it is. There's no other reason I could think of for me having those ear problems. So my mom has this lamp, and on top of the lamp, there's this thing that comes out. And I want to say it was one of those oil lamps with the naked lady, but something a little bit different, more peacockish, I guess. So it had these like little lines, and they were colorful. So they would be colorful like this, right? And it was really cool. Like you pick it up off the top of the lamp, and then you could carry it around and go to the bathroom, and you could have like light as you're walking. So you're illuminating your walk to the bathroom. So I'm moaning and crying, and I'm walking around the house, and all of a sudden the guy that was on the couch, this was my auntie's boyfriend, he's like, Erica, what's wrong? And I said, my ear hurts, and you know, I start crying, and he said, come here. And he put me in the blanket. He let me sleep with him in the blanket. I was like a little spoon, really little. And he massaged me until I fell asleep. What a beautiful, that's why I cried. I was like, men in my life were so helpful to me. You know, even my dad was my dad. And if my dad had done that, that would have been like, oh, how sweet. But if a stranger does it, you're like, oh, did he molest you? Oh my God, did something, you know, because that could be what the weird thing that could happen. Because I know as soon as I started telling this story, my husband and my daughter were looking at me like, oh my God, am I going to hear that my mom and my wife was molested at this time by this person? Nope, it wasn't molestation. It was like 100% care and love, and I was getting that from someone. And it was probably, I do remember the sleep, and it was amazing. It was like a relief that I had somebody fucking caring for me right there, like in that way. My needs are always are emotional and physical touch. I get really, I'm real prone to that. And yet I still feel that I have an aversion to it in some ways, because I feel there's such stigma towards, you know, feeling something that is so good, and it's not sexual, it's just a good feeling from somebody else. And I think that's what we should start to integrate into our lives, like more so, just having the love and being seen and being able to be vulnerable with somebody. But anyways, that's my story today, and it's actually going to be a lot shorter than 30 minutes today. And I just wanted to quickly share that. And the healing process of it is that once I know it, and I'm able to process it, it does take some time to, like, I'll get really, really tired, for instance. I'll want to sleep for an entire day. And it has nothing to do with anyone else. It's just my own way of processing the information that I just received from my higher self. And I do believe that's my higher self, because we're always watching ourselves. Never doubt that. No matter what time of your life it was, you're a witness to your life. You are witnessing your own life. Right now, you are witnessing your life. I'm witnessing my life right now as I'm talking to you on this video. And I think that's all I wanted to talk about today. I know that I keep on saying, oh, I'm going to talk about supernatural, I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to talk about that. I guess I can leave one supernatural story from back when I was very young. We lived at Park Avenue. My mom was making dinner. We were all hanging out, and my grandmother was very sad. My grandmother on my mom's side was very depressed. She had a broken heart, I would say. And she was wounded, very wounded, not by her mom, but also by her husband, by her life. The way that she lived her life, she was wounded even by the guys that she would see. So we're having dinner, we're enjoying our dinner or whatever, and we're having a good time. Music's playing, we're laughing, having fun. All of a sudden the phone rings, and my mom immediately knows that it's going to be her mom. She's like, oh my God, that's Mom, and she's saying it to one of her sisters. I don't remember who it was there. And she's like, that's Mom, and I don't want to answer the phone. I don't want her to bring me down or whatever. And I was like, once again, I was like, oh my God, she should really answer the phone. She should really answer the phone, And I'm thinking, something's wrong, because this phone keeps ringing and ringing. And all of a sudden it rang until it rang off the hook. It jumped off the hook and it landed on the side of the phone thing. So it basically, it's, the old phones, manual phone things, landlines. The phone, no one touched it, no one was near it. It pops off and it lands. And guess what? It's my grandmother, and she's talking about she tried to kill herself, and or was wanting to, and felt it, and she wanted to talk to my mom, and so she called her, and my mom ended up talking to her. And I thought, wow, that's because at the time she was actually she told me at one time, and this is when I was super little, because she died she ascended when I was 14, or was I 13? No, I was 14. And she told me that how good it felt to be, and this is a sensitive subject, by the way. My grandma was very, very depressed, and she would talk about death with me a lot and how she wanted to die. So people are in this world, they actually want to die, and they're not afraid of it at all. And so she taught me a lot about that. And I know, you're not, the last thing you should do is try to kill yourself, because that will just make your whole entire life start over, and it's going to be harder for you the next time around. She ended up succumbing to an illness. She was in the hospital for a couple of years, it felt like. I guess it was a couple of years or a year. And it was horrible. And she passed away in the hospital after having a stroke and a heart attack. And yeah, that was horrifying. I can't believe I left it on a bad note again. It's 23. I'm one of those people, I guess. I'm looking in and I'm looking out for validation, and as we do. So, what other thing would I like to end this with? Let me see if I can find anything written down that I would like to talk about. No, Dad, no. I write everything down, honestly. And the reason I do it is because our lives are important. Your life is important, and it's good to talk about our stories online and to share with people what we've gone through. I have another one. This is a better story of supernatural. This is kind of supernatural. When I was very little, it always starts when I was very little, my mom and I, we would not have food sometimes. We were on welfare, and we were living in our own place, and you know, trying to make ends meet as best we could without child support and stuff like that. So we were super hungry. All we had was mashed potatoes, a box of mashed potatoes, and my mom made them. And instead of eating them, of course, we start to make little couches, little people. We're just like getting into this whole creativity thing, and it's awesome. And we're just enjoying each other. And you know, you can't always let things get you down, you know? So we're kind of like making the best of the moment. Here we go. That is also wonderful to know. We were making the best of the moment that we were in. All of a sudden the knock at the door comes, and we're like, oh, the hell? Somebody's here. And back then, you answered the door, you didn't really get afraid unless there was somebody you didn't really want to see. So we answered the door, and it was my grandma Evans. And she had grocery bags, tons of them, sitting down on the porch and in her hands. And she comes in and she said, I thought I would come by and give a care package to you guys. And we were both kind of like looking at each other like we can't even believe this, right? Then to top it off, all the food that we're getting is all food that's like our favorite food. And we're like, whoa. And we're just like so thankful, so grateful in that moment that we were able to get that food and enjoy a meal together, you know? And I don't know, my grandma was magical in that way. She was a really neat woman, and she obviously had intuition, and she knew something was up, and so she came to our rescue. And so that's the story that I'm gonna leave today with you. And I want you to have a good week, good weekend, and just enjoy it, enjoy each other, meditate, get out, move your body. That's what I needed to do today, and I probably should have done it before I got on here, but I didn't. I just wanted to tell you this story. All right, so much love to you, and I will talk to you next week if I have something to say. Okay, take care. Bye.